Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at, well, what might be our most surprising source yet. It's a modern fable.
It is, yeah. It's a bilingual story by Frederick Jagu called The Three Little Pigs, a fable of resilience and transition.
And if you're thinking you know this story, straw, sticks, bricks, you should probably think again. This is a complete reinvention.
A total reinvention. Jagu uses that familiar frame to explore some of the biggest, most complex anxieties of our time. We're talking financial collapse, climate disaster, the fragility of our whole system.
Absolutely. So our three pigs, Victor, Emile, and Leo, they're not kids, they're young adults, just finished their studies, and they each get a little money to start their lives.
And each one picks a path based on, I guess, their vision of what happiness or success looks like.
Right. And our mission in this deep dive is to unpack these three very different worldviews and see which one actually holds up when everything we rely on just stops working.
It's really a story about systems thinking. And before we even get to the pigs, the author gives us this framework. Three key verbs: cultivar, partager, repairer.
Or in English, grow, share, repair.
Exactly. And that's the philosophy that the entire story is testing against our modern world.
Okay, so let's start with the pig who really embodies the 21st century dream of speed and wealth. That's Victor.
Victor, he loved big cities, right? Buildings that touched the clouds. His whole dream was just to get rich.
He's the poster child for the high finance, high tech model. The source says he earned lots and lots of money just by staring at screens.
Just watching numbers go up and down, buying and selling stocks. His idea of security was purely financial, built on this assumption that the markets would grow forever.
And his life reflected that. He built this ultra-modern house.
Oh, yeah. All concrete and huge panes of glass. A building that it must have eaten a tremendous amount of energy just to exist.
And we get these perfect little details, like he had a robot gardener.
A talking refrigerator that ordered his groceries for him.
And of course, the shiny red sports car. His motto apparently was, comfort is the key.
I mean, his entire life was engineered to remove any kind of effort or friction. But what's so interesting is how the book describes his house. That it shone a little more all the time, as if he wanted to light up the whole planet all by himself.
It's just so unsustainable, and that structure, the concrete and glass, it's a monument to outsourced resilience, isn't it? The moment the power goes out, that house is just a hot box in summer and a freezer in winter.
Exactly. His security isn't in the building itself. It's in his ability to pay for the constant energy and connectivity it requires. It's a house made of, well, 1,000 fragile dependencies.
So if Victor is that hyper-capitalist extreme, Emile is the reaction to it. He's the pendulum swing.
Right. Emile saw the problems with Victor's life, but he was looking for what the book calls the perfect balance.
He's the conscious consumer, the guy who wants to live sustainably but within the existing system.
He has a cozy wooden house, he eats organic, shops at the farmer's market, sorts his trash meticulously.
Does yoga every day, of course.
Of course. And he drives a quiet, practical electric car. He's ticking all the boxes, right? He's doing everything we're told is the right way to live.
He is. He even has a popular blog about it, explaining how to live well without consuming too much. But this is where the story gets really clever.
Because Emile is only focused on his own consumption, the inputs and the outputs, the food he buys, the waste he sorts.
He never questions the massive, centralized infrastructure that makes his lifestyle possible.
Not at all. He still needs the power grid to charge that car. He needs the municipal water supply, the sewage treatment plants. He's just a more efficient user of a very fragile system.
And you see this in how he views his brothers. He worries about Victor, obviously. But Leo, the third brother,
He looks at Leo with a bit of personal pride, like he's found the perfect, sensible middle path. He genuinely believes his choices have made him secure.
which brings us to Leo. And Leo is the one who, at first, seems like a total outlier, a complete rejection of, well, of everything.
Yeah, he's the one everyone calls odd or a dreamer. He wants nothing to do with screens or big cities. He just wants to be close to nature.
But this isn't about going back to the Stone Age. It's about a different kind of knowledge. He builds his house himself.
And not out of bricks. He uses straw, earth, and recycled materials. But here's the crucial part. It's not a primitive hut. It's intelligently designed.
It's bioclimatic. That's the key phrase. It stays warm in winter and cool in summer all by itself. No heating, no AC.
That's a huge step. I mean, that's freedom from the grid right there.
Yeah.
And his whole life is like that. His garden is this thriving little ecosystem, no chemicals. He has chickens. He gets around on a bike or a horse.
His philosophy is the complete opposite of Victor's. Nature gives us everything we need if we live with her and not against her.
He's focused on those three verbs we mentioned: making, repairing, sharing. It's all about the local community.
Mm,
But you have to ask, isn't this just romanticizing a kind of poverty?
that's the question, isn't it? Is
Oh,
this
yeah.
a step back?
I don't think the fable presents it that way. It's not a rejection of knowledge. It's actually an application of advanced knowledge permaculture,
Hmm.
passive solar design, to create something simple and robust. His security is in his own hands and his neighbor's hands, not in an app.
And then, after years of things just going along, the system gets its first big test.
The financial collapse. The
Mhm.
source describes it so simply. One morning, everything changed.
For Victor, that change was immediate and catastrophic. His screens, the source of all his wealth, they just turned angry red.
And because his whole life was built on that system, he lost it all in just a few days. The job, the money, the house.
But the detail that is just so chilling, the one that really defines the failure of his high-tech life, is the smart fridge.
Oh, it's brutal. It refused to open without a special subscription.
Just think about that. His ability to access his own food was locked by a company that had probably just gone bankrupt. He lost control of the most basic things.
He was left with nothing. No more comfort, no more luxury, nothing left.
So, with nowhere to go, he ends up taking refuge with Emil. He starts learning to live simply, preparing his own food.
And the book says he found that this simple life was not so hard.
But that was only the first dominant to fall.
Exactly. The financial crisis was just the setup. It crippled the system's ability to respond to the next crisis.
The environmental one, the great storm, a wind that blew like an angry wolf.
And this is the moment Emil's whole worldview collapses. Because the storm doesn't just damage his house, it takes out the infrastructure he depends on.
His electric car gets swept away as the roads turn to rivers.
And then the big ones. The power grid goes down. The water stops running from the taps. The wastewater plants fail.
And all his organic vegetables and his careful recycling mean nothing. He has no clean water. He has no sanitation.
And here's the double bind. Because of the financial collapse, there's no money or manpower to fix any of it. The system can't repair itself.
That's when Emil has his terrible realization that his life, for all his good intentions, still depended on the system. He wasn't self-sufficient at all.
He was just as vulnerable as Victor. They were both trapped, both dependent on centralized systems that were now just gone.
And in that moment of despair, it's actually Victor, the former finance guy, who sees the only path forward.
He's the one who says it. There's only one option left. Let's go to Leo's.
But he adds that crucial line, not to visit him, but to take refuge.
It's such a powerful reversal of roles. So they start walking for 2 days through what the book calls sleeping towns.
Empty storefronts, dark streetlights, all the signs of their old world having failed, and the one they called a misfit, a dreamer.
He becomes their last hope.
When they finally get there, they don't find some isolated hut. They find a whole village, and it's described as alive, resilient, and joyful.
This is maybe the biggest takeaway. Real resilience isn't about individual survivalism. It's about community interdependence.
Leo explains how they do it, and he goes right back to those core verbs.
Here, we don't depend on big factories. We grow, we share, we repair. They've built this incredible localized system. Greenhouses, rainwater collectors, nothing is wasted.
They weren't just getting by, they were thriving. They had bread, tools, books, ideas, and lots of laughter.
And the lesson they all learn is that real strength doesn't come from bricks or concrete. It comes from how a thing is built and, well, the warmth of the ones who live inside. The real value is respect for the earth, the water, and living beings.
And the story is very clear on one point. This new world they find isn't a step backward.
No, absolutely not. The author calls it a new direction, a fairer one and paradoxically safer.
So technology isn't gone, it's just repurposed. The screens and AI that Victor used to get rich are still there.
But their goal has completely changed. They're not used to accelerate consumption anymore.
Instead, they're used to help forests grow back, protect bees, repair instead of throwing away. It's about conservation and care, not speed and profit.
Wisdom starts guiding the innovation, not the other way around.
And in this new world, the old judgments are gone. Nobody makes fun of the pig who talks to plants. Practical wisdom is the new currency. Even Victor learns to bake bread.
And this all ties back to a really fascinating historical note the author includes. The original story of the three pigs was first published around 1853.
Right at the dawn of the Industrial Revolution.
Exactly. The moment when concrete and factory-made bricks were being sold as the ultimate symbols of modern safety.
So, for over 150 years, we've had this story reinforcing the idea that the industrial house is the strongest. But the author points out this incredible irony.
Which is that reinforced concrete crumbles after about 100 years.
Yeah.
It requires a huge industrial base to maintain and repair.
Whereas a well-built straw bale house using modern design principles.
Can last for centuries. It's inherently more durable because it's simpler and can be maintained locally.
So the author's message to us, to the adults reading, is that building this future isn't about giving up comfort.
It's about inventing a new kind of comfort, one that's more free, more joyful, with more time for what truly matters.
So this deep dive really shows us that security, it's not in the bank account, like Victor thought.
And it's not even in being a responsible consumer within a fragile system, like a meal. It comes from, well, Leo's path, from community, from self-efficiency, and from that philosophy, grow, share, and repair.
Which leaves you with a pretty challenging question, I think. What is the real definition of sturdy in your own life? If the systems you rely on every day, the markets, the grid, the water, if they all went dark tomorrow, how long would your house stand? It's a profound thought. And that the story seems to suggest that it's never too late to start building a sturdier home.